Hi, I'm Morgan, and this is Olivia, and this week's topic is siblings, and if they know or not. And obviously she's here, so she knows. And what's the other part of it? And how did they react? And I will ask you. Okay,
Okay.
when did I tell you that I was trans?
About a year or two ago, I think.
Okay, how did you feel when I told you?
I was like, what? I was like, what's a trans?
What's a trans?
I said that. I was
Oh.
like, what's a trans?
Did you think I was serious at first?
It didn't hit me until, like, you cut your hair really, really short. And then I was like, oh, this is an actual thing. Okay.
So that's how you knew?
Yeah.
Alright. What's it like having teachers who remember me?
It's really awkward because they're like, oh, say hi to your sister Morgan for me, and I'll mumble under my breath. I'm like, he's a boy, not girl.
Olivia's 5 years younger than me, so she's 12 right now.
Yeah, it's a little
So she's
weird.
had and we go to like a small school, so she's having all the teachers in middle school that I had. So that's weird
Yeah.
for you. All right. How do you use my pronouns around your friends?
It was really awkward because the other day I was like, oh yeah, so my brother Morgan was like, and my friend Alyssa stopped me and she's like, I thought Morgan was a girl. I'm like, no, Morgan's always been a boy. And it's kind of weird. Certain friends I use she because they don't know and it would be really awkward and they probably send someone to kill you. Not literally, but, you know. But other friends are like, oh yeah, my brother Morgan. And they're like, brother? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay.
How about mom and dad? How do you use my pronouns around them?
It depends who I'm talking to, because if it's mom, it's he, but if it's dad, it's she sometimes, because he's still really weird about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. What about your teachers? Probably still she, right?
She, because they would freak out if I said he.
Yeah. How about strangers?
He. Always.
Awesome. All right. What do you think about me being on T?
I think it's pretty awesome, to be honest, because I can see how much happier you are, and it makes me happy.
All right. How have I changed on T, like physically?
Physically?
Yeah. What happened?
Your voice changed. Even though I don't hear it, I can kind of tell, but since I'm around you all the time and it's like changing slowly, it's just normal. So it doesn't really sound that different, but you've also gotten muscly.
I did?
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's...
So maybe when Jordan picked me up the other day, he's like, "Oh, dude, you're heavier," and I was like, "What?" Because I have a habit of just jumping on him.
That sounds wrong, but yeah.
No. All right. How have I changed mentally? Like, what do you think?
What do I think about...
Yeah, about how I've changed mentally.
I think you've changed quite a bit, because you were all like, I'm so sad, I have nothing
And I was
to
an
do."
emo kid.
Yeah, and then now you're like, I'm so happy! In certain
Look,
situations.
I'm like wearing white and blue. Look,
Yeah,
like, that would
and you're
never have
usually-
happened.
No, not really.
Do you think I'll ever change my mind about this down the road?
No, but at first I was kind of afraid that this wasn't the right choice about you being on testosterone, but now I can totally tell it was.
So you don't think I'm gonna change my mind?
No.
What do you think you'd do if I did change my mind?
I'd be like, you ruined everything.
So you would just stop supporting me?
No! I just think that you were a really massive weenie.
It's Olivia for you. Yep. So, yes, my sibling knows, and I guess she told you how everything went down. I kind of remember just being like, you know how sometimes, like, what happened, like, actually, was I like, you know how, like, they had Ida on Family Guy? Even though it's a terrible representation of the trans community. Like, I was like, do you remember her? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, what if I was like her, but I was going from girl to boy? Is that what it was like? Or I feel like I sat you down on your bed and I was like, I am a trans.
You did. You sat me down on my bed and you
that's
were like,
one of the
Olivia,
how I explained it.
I need to tell you something, and promise me you won't freak out. And it's weird because the other, like, when you told me that, and then it, like, I knew for a year without mom and dad knowing.
Oh, yeah.
And then they tried to tell me, they like sat me down and they were talking to me in the kitchen and they were like, Olivia, listen, we need to tell you something. You know how Morgan acts like a boy? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, she defines as he and defines himself as transgender. And I'm like, you didn't know that? And they're like, what? They're like, you know? And I was like, of course, I knew for like a year.
And what I told them, actually, I had my therapist tell them like 2 years ago. So you've known for like 3 years.
Oh my god.
Like you've known
It's been
since
that
I was
long.
with Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you were like probably one of the first people. These are
Whoa,
these
I
are
feel
some
so special.
these are some shocking revelations right here. I'm sorry the video is so long, but
Yeah.
this is my lovely sister Olivia. Yay. And I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.